Laura from Enchanted Vines, and today we're going to be doing a faux floral arrangement using flowers from TCT Crafts. And believe me when I say these are absolutely stunning. This looks very lifelike. I do think somebody is going to water this at some point. So why don't we get going? All right, today we're going to be designing in this compote base. I actually bought a case of these all in white, and I've just been painting them like whatever metallic to suit, you know, whatever the vibe is. So we're going to take first our dry foam block and see how that fits. Okay, so it's going to fit nice and snug. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hot glue gun. She has a hard time coming off the base for some reason. Okay, I'm going to put a lot of glue in because you just got to think when something's shipping, it's getting like jostled around. We want to make sure our stuff is nice and secure. All right, so we're going to start with just setting the base of our greenery. Okay, so this is Ficus from TCT Crafts, okay, and I love it, okay. I was curious, I have a bunch of Ficus here, but I was like, I need to check it out. So this is really nice. It has all the lines, like the little details, all that goodness. So I like Ficus because you get your money's worth out of it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. So this middle piece is just too tall. So I'm going to cut it around the halfway point and then cut this little guy off. Sometimes I call that the nubbin, and sometimes with wreaths I don't use it, but for this we can definitely use it as a filler. All right, so to get started, I'm going to be using my glue pot as we go. I'm going to put one piece in, and I'm going to give it a nice bend. I like when things like drape down a bit. Take our next piece. I love making wreaths, but I don't know, at this last few days I've just been so enjoying doing the floral arrangements, so why fight it, right? We want to just make sure that the back side of the ficus is facing inward. We don't want that to be showing. All right, so now we're going to work with this fancier style of ficus. This is also from TCT Crafts. Pretty much everything aside from the container actually is from TCT Crafts. So instead of me repeating that over and over again, I will just say it. And if you shop there and use promo code KARA15, you get 15% off your order. And they have all sorts of goodies. And I got an order last week and it had like surprise goodies in it. And one was, it was like some very like high-end ribbon, which we all love our ribbon, as we know. All right, so I'm just gonna repeat and just cut this up. I just think there's something like so nice about having florals in your home, whether they're artificial. Like I feel like this time of year, you know, I have a lot more artificial than real. But they just really, they brighten up a room. I mean, there is like a power to it. You know, they do talk about how your dopamine levels rise when you see flowers, when you smell flowers. Like there's a lot of really cool things that raise your dopamine levels. It can also be like working with your hands, which is, I think this is like a double whammy. I get to have my flowers, I get to work with my hands. Working with your hands in like dirt, like gardening, all of those things like bring people joy. And I 100% agree with that. This greenery is really, really nice. I know somebody was saying that like a local craft store, I want to say Michael's, used to sell this and they discontinued it or something. I can't speak to what the quality was of Michael's, but this is like, it's really fantastic quality. I mean, it actually feels real to me. All right, so we've got a good amount of our greenery in. So let's decide what is going to be kind of like the star of the show here. All right, I think we're gonna go with these two giant, gorgeous peonies. I'm just such a sucker for peonies. So we have two of them to work with. So we gotta make it count. I am going to put one right here in the middle. I'm gonna give the head a little bend. Okay, and when we're I like to bend the heads of flowers because that's how they grow in nature. But when we are bending the heads, we're not actually grabbing this part. We want to use where the wire is so that we don't like pop this off. I mean, if that should happen, you can typically like put things back together again, but why create extra work for yourself? Okay, now I'm gonna go in. Let me see if these are labeled. Okay, so these are burgundy peony sprays, and we are working with 3 of these. And I love these, also gorgeous. So let's see. Figuring out my pattern here. Start with one. Side. And then I'm going to repeat. Onto the side. And I love how these are just clustered. There's so many things that I break up, but I think that the way these are clustered is really, really pretty. All right, and then I'm gonna put the third one right smack in the middle. I try so hard to keep things like not oversized, but somehow I manage. So more is more kind of girl. All right. Now I've been waiting to use these. These like legit, I feel like they are real. Like you would not be able to, like nobody would know that these are artificial. This is a Tuberose spray. And again, like the leaves feel real, the petals feel real. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous flower. Gone are the days of like silk flowers, you know, that antiquated name and look. So let me just see. They are permanent botanicals, and they are basically capturing flowers in their most perfect state of blooming, and they will remain that way. I think that's kind of like a term people aren't used to, but with the level of with the level of detail and realness, I think that that is a more appropriate term. Way down. Moving along, we are going to go in with these white roses. I still feel like this guy is too high. My rule of thumb is if something doesn't like look or feel right off the bat, it's best to pull it before the glue dries. The glue pellets in my glue pot are from Surebonder, and they are, once they dry, it's very, very hard to get something out, which is great because you don't want things to come out, but if you're trying to move something, it can be a challenge. So yeah, you know, I'm going to keep these both a little bit lower. See, that was giving me a little bit of resistance with the glue. Back in. These kind of remind me of like hyacinths too, which are one of like my favorites. All right, we're gonna go in with this is a cabbage rose bush. And I like the foliage on this. I always feel like there's a lot of flowers that sometimes the blooms look real, but then the flowers themselves look fake. But this has nice foliage on it. Melissa from TCT Crafts has good taste. And I'm actually gonna see if I can raise my chair because I don't think, I'm gonna be lost behind this thing pretty soon. Over. Okay, and now we're going to start to look for where the holes are. And again, you can separate these blooms. I'm not going to. I actually really like it. I'm making sure that the, you know, one's shorter, and so I'm positioning it in a way that the shorter one is facing down. Like if you did it the opposite way, then, you know, you would be losing this because it would be facing inward. Okay. See, it's like so peaceful here. This is why sometimes, like, after working all day, like, to decompress, like, this is what I do. Today has been a good design day, you know, like when you're just really, like, feeling it and everything is coming kind of, like, effortlessly versus, like, you know, days where you're tense or stressed. Today has just been a great day for designing. So I am not in a rush to pack it up for the day. I'm definitely enjoying getting to do what I love. I will say that I did forget to thaw out dinner though, so I don't know what we're gonna have. Maybe a little carried away down here. Okay, how are we looking? Let's see, we have some options. I think we have enough of the white cabbage roses. We have this mixed bouquet, and I think we're gonna keep it like a nice clean look. So let's go in with this filler. I don't have a tag. It kind of looks like gypsum, like baby's breath, but nicer. So I'm not sure what this is exactly. But I am going to go through and cut them all at the base. All right, so I'm just gonna have to pull a little bud off so I can get this stem in. So I'm gonna start in the middle. I adore how like light and airy these are. Usually when I'm designing, I'm either like listening to, it's usually either like Eminem or it's classical music. I feel like I would love to have classical music on right now, but YouTube copyrights everything. It snags it, and then you have to like delete your audio. So it's just gonna be me rambling. But if you're at home, you should put on some music. I just really enjoy the process. I like doing the Lazy Susan just because it keeps everything balanced. And you know, if you like kind of have a blip and aren't sure exactly how you had it positioned, you can just swing it on back. Okay, we've got 3 left. Let's make them count. I'm gonna give this ficus just a more dramatic bend, just so it's like a little bit more up with the design. Okay. I like want to keep this for myself. Would that be so wrong? Would that be good business? Not so much. All right, last piece. All right. Little Stevie is all snuggled up over there. He's got a good life, that dog. All right, so here she is. She's nice and airy. I'm proud of myself because I have a tendency to just put so much into things, but I really love this. I think it's very realistic looking. A lot of the materials actually feel real. And I love these like tubular roses? They're gorgeous. So just to finish off this design, we always want everything looking natural. So what we're gonna do is we are going to use some Spanish moss. So I get my Spanish moss, I do like the subscribe and save off of Amazon, but I like to use this because a little goes a long way. Like sometimes I use reindeer moss on things. It kind of depends on the project, but typically for floral arrangements, I like to use this. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be spreading this out. I'm literally already covered. Okay. And I'm just gonna tuck this into the base. Okay, this just seems indecent. Of course the dogs are going crazy. All right, so we're just tucking this into the base, and then we're gonna go back through with floral pins. And I like doing the floral pins because if you're shipping this, you know, a material like this, something that's just preserved, there's a good chance like some of it can come loose. So you just want to make sure that it's pretty secure in there and that it's covering our foam block. Again, we want people to think these are real. I want to report that a husband has watered these. Okay, now we're going to take our floral pins. So these are our floral pins. If you, I wasn't lying about the glue. And if you don't have floral pins, or you just don't want to buy them, you can also just take, you know, like a stem that you would have normally just discarded and just shape it in a U. It's going to do exactly the same thing. All right, so I'm going to do this just on all four sides. All right, so here she is. I am like literally covered in moss. So I'm so glad I'm wearing all black. Yes, this is our final design. So beautiful cabbage roses, mini peonies, big peony blooms, our tubular roses, all have come together to just make something so natural and spring-like. So let me know what you think of this design, and if you enjoyed designing with me and would like to again, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you then.